Hello and welcome to a video about Salesforce's Financial Services Cloud. In this, I am going to take some of the features that I think a lot of people maybe underuse or maybe aren't even aware that are in the Financial Services Cloud module and expose some of those things and show you what it looks like in Salesforce. So the first thing I wanted to review is the refers summary. So there's quite a few different Lightning components that have been created for refers. So the way that Salesforce Financial Services Cloud uses leads and referrals, which is kind of a clunky model, but you certainly want to study the data a little bit more. But there's some great components such as refers assigned to me, top refers within the company, referral summary, just really neat components that you can tag through, and then overall referral performance. So just wanted to point out these 4 components that you can put typically on your home page, but you could probably put them on other objects as well. The next thing I wanted to show you is I'm going to be focusing on a household account, but it's called Business Milestones. So Business Milestones might not fit a household 110%, but you can see some of the features and or you can customize these. It's basically just milestones that happen within a client that you may want to track. For instance, merger acquisitions, these are just the defaults that are set up. You can customize these. But if you have significant milestones within a business, or I'm sure you could even put personal milestones here as well, you can simply add them. So you can hover over, you can add a new one or look at existing ones. So on this new product, actually if you do a hover might not be working in my video here, but I'll show you how to add a new one. So say you wanted to add a new partnership, new VP added. I guess that's probably more an executive change, but you can throw a date in there, hit save, and you'll see that VP was added. Was working. If you do hover over it, we'll show you a little bit of brief synopsis of that. You could sort it by recent first. You could sort it by multiple years. So previous there, previous 6 months. I think all of mine are in those date ranges. So just kind of a neat component to track some significant milestones. And you can customize these listings as well. I believe the way you customize those is simply by going to edit page and editing the component. The next piece is understanding some of the roll-up summaries. So within the Financial Services Cloud, there's a lot of great roll-up summaries that you can modify or utilize. For instance, like total bank deposits, total financial accounts. A lot of them will work out of the gate, but there is a whole trigger functionality section that you want to look up to. You can modify the triggers that do the custom roll-up summaries. So if we look at financial accounts, again, hopefully you're using financial accounts. Great use case for, typically you're going to use this section for ingesting data from your core software to bring that data in. I just made a couple test records, but there's investment accounts, bank accounts, insurance policies, assets, liabilities, different roles. But typically this is the area where you're going to land data from your core, probably not creating a whole lot of user entered data. But as you can see, I've got 2 people in this household, Vivian and Scott Adams. She has a savings account, he has a checking account, $25,000 balance, $10,000 balance. Again, if we go back to the details, you can see total financial accounts and total deposits. So really just a nice overall way to see that information. The next thing that I found that was part of this Financial Services Cloud demo is called Update Address. So a lot of times the address is something that you want people locked down, right? You don't want users to change these because that's probably going to change where they get their statements or other pertinent information. So you may be making these read-only. But there was a cool flow and a quick action button called Update Address. So you click Update Address. It'll ask you what address you want to update. It'll automatically pre-fill that address. So let's say I wanted to change it to 123 Main Street. Keep everything else the same. Hit next. It'll even ask you for like a proof of address upload. So you can go ahead and grab something that's optional. Hit next and it'll say, okay, yep, we created a case. So if you're not using cases, you definitely want to look into that as well. I went and added it as a related list. So you'll be able to see. So cases are kind of like any sort of servicing action they may want to go. So this case would probably go to somebody in a servicing department. They'd manage a list view of those cases, and then they would go into those cases and go ahead and work that that update and then get it updated, and then most likely it would feed back from your core system and get those addresses updated from your core. Next piece is goals. So I just thought goals was a neat piece because there's a little prettier visualization than just a related list. So as you can see here, there's a new home purchase that Vivian wants to do. You can set a target, actual, and a due date, and it puts this nice percentage chart together. Again, just to track some of those goals for your clients. I'll show you what that looks like. You just give it some sort of name. Let's say boat purchase. You can create these types. I don't think we have a boat one, so we'll just mark it as other. I'll relate it to the household here. Let's say this one's completed. Let's just see what that looks like. I don't know if you can buy a new boat for $20,000 these days, but give you an idea what it looks like. So yeah, there we go. Per purchase. I didn't put a date in, but give you an idea of some of the goals that you can help outline with your clients and help encourage them. The next piece, lastly, but not certainly not least, is called action plans. Action plans is a really great way to set up kind of templated activity for specific functionality, if that makes sense. So I've got one set up here, but the first thing you have to set up is what's called an action plan template. So I'm going to go to my action plan templates object. And it is really a kind of a nice UI. They've created some nice lightning components in here. So when you create an action plan template, you're going to set up tasks. So I created a called SBA loan action plan template. And when you apply this template to an account, or you can relate it to many different objects. I relate it to an account. You probably want to relate it to like an opportunity or something like that. You would set up the tasks. So I've got 3 tasks here. Check in on loan docs 3 days after it started. It'll automatically be assigned to whoever created the action plan, or you can default it to a specific person. You can set a priority. You can set prerequisites, as well as make them required, and you can set a reminder time as well. But as you can see, it's kind of like 1, 2, 3, right? So I want to do this, then I want to do this many days after. So what happens is when that action plan is created, it's going to have a scheduled action to create a new task for that person for whatever subject you set it for, whether it's required. And then you could also add prerequisites. So obviously the file SBA number needs to be done before they create the file in ITI. And then on top of that, there's document checklist items. So let's say you have a list of documents that you want to collect from that client for this type of template. You can set those up as well. So let's go back to that household, and you can see what this looks like. So you can see items completed are 07. It's in progress, start date, scheduled frequency. But if you click into the SBA loan, you'll now see a little bit more of that detail. And you can make it where users can add items, or you can lock it down where they can't add items, which is, I thought was pretty cool. So you could easily go here and say, yep, I'll go ahead and complete this item. It was assigned to me. Say completed. Hit save. Now that's completed. I could maybe go down here and edit the status of the tax returns. Say, yeah, that's accepted. Obviously, it's just a pick list value. You could customize those. File pertains to, there it goes. This is for Scott Adams. So hopefully that makes sense. And again, just nice lightning components, be able to drill in. Now we can go back to that household. We should be, if we go back to action plans, we just see that there's 2 of 7 items done. And as you'll see on the right hand side, you'll see some of the tasks that automatically got created. And on action plans, to create a new plan is really simple. You just hit new plan. You would set up the name. Again, for mine, I did SBA loan. You can make it a unique name. Let's say 7A or something like that. We'll grab SBA loan. We'll set a target start date and then relate it to what we need to do. You can even skip non-work days for tasks, which is pretty cool. So it's in progress. It'll give you a preview of what that action plan looks like, and then you can hit save. Again, basically, duplicating this, so Let's go back to that household. Action plans. You'll see there's the 2 action plans there. The next thing I want to point out, I don't have a specific demo because there's further configuration to be set up, but recently Salesforce released a OCR platform called Intelligent Form Reader, and it does use something called Amazon Text Extract. But I just have a video here. But basically what it does, you can upload documents, it'll read those documents, and then map it to different objects within Salesforce, which I thought was really cool. They need to be set up, on the back end for the different document type, but then that end user can choose, let's say there's a W-2, right? So they can say, they can actually open this and it'll read this document, and you can click here and say, okay, where is this gonna go, right? This is gonna go update the account. This is gonna update maybe some financials or a loan application. So really, really cool. I know this is newer features, but again, it uses AWS text tracked, so as a third party to read that, but the mapping and everything there is done. I'm not quite sure if this is a paid service, if this includes in Financial Services Cloud, but again, just another really cool feature that I thought was part of Salesforce Financial Services Cloud. If you got any questions, feel free to let me or my team know, and hope to be able to help you out implement any of these items with Financial Services Cloud. Thanks.